morning to the honorable judges, respected audience, and all the participants of this English speech contest. First of all, I would like to thank the Almighty God for His blessing. It is because of Him we are all able to participate in this contest without any obstacle and in healthy condition. Secondly, I also want to say thank you to the English Club IAIS Ambas for giving me an opportunity to deliver my speech through this video in the middle of this COVID-19 pandemic. The honorable judges, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sylvia, as the representative of National Senior High School No. 1 Sambas, and I'm standing here before this camera to talk about the impact of online education during the COVID-19 pandemic. Ladies and gentlemen, the COVID-19 pandemic has changed education forever. Let me start with a fact. Up until the day I wrote this speech, the COVID-19 pandemic had led to a global shutdown of school, with over 1.2 billion students having to adapt to studying outside of the classroom. Education had to change dramatically and urgently, with online education coming to the forefront via a variety of digital platforms such as Zoom and Google Classroom. At the first glance, online education may seem as an exciting and fun educational system compared to regular school. But it turns out, school closures in response to the COVID-19 pandemic have shed a light on numerous issues affecting access to education, as well as broader socio-economic issues, including student debt, digital learning issue, food insecurity, and homelessness. This also leads to childcare issue, healthcare issue, housing issue, and internet and disability services issue. Minister of Education and Culture of Indonesia, Mr. Nadiem Makarim said that online education is not the ideal way of learning. There is a grave danger to students of COVID-19 pandemic generation. Because there is no face-to-face interaction between teachers and students, it impacts the academic integrity. A rise in contract cheating, academic file sharing, and exam cheating were identified as particularly problematic. Under the same circumstances, students reported that the online learning system to be even more stressful than regular school. Along with the implementation of online education, the amount of students that are struggling with mental problems has been rising for these past few months. Students that are participating in this online learning program also said that the workload of online classes is larger than offline classes. Audience, most Indonesian internet users are relying on the expensive and limited capacity mobile network instead of the broadband network that can easily cater to the online education requirements that require a large data exchange. It makes the students in less fortunate situation and students who are in school that are not well funded suffer and having a difficult time maintaining their education by the government order of school closings. Then, is online education effective for students? The truth is, for many students, online education is only a formality and not a real substitute of regular teaching. Online education is sometimes based on the principle work it out yourself. Students are not acquiring real long-lasting knowledge. Their lack of willingness and desire to learn. Ladies and gentlemen, education's current move to online education may be leaving a sour taste in the mouth of students and faculties across the country, but there is a silver lining. Despite of many negative impacts the online education has, it's still entitled as the most popular form of distance learning in higher education today. No matter what the situation looks like, our lives must continue, as well as education. Online education has become our alternative during this COVID-19 social distancing policies. With online education, teachers and students can participate in a virtual classroom, implementing almost the same activities as offline education without the need of their presence in person. Online education is still considered as a new method of learning in Indonesia's education field. Indonesia's education could become more advanced with its online learning system. As one of the examples of the development is, teachers and students can learn more about technologies and practicing the use of office software, internet, and the others. Also, with online education, Indonesia's learning system could be more varied. The main advantage of online education is the flexibility. When students enroll for online classes, they will be able to study and review study materials during their own time. Online education also helps students to develop themselves in other aspects, such as reading, writing, and drawing. That way, students don't just spend their spare time with studying, but they can also develop their talents and potential. Audience. This current COVID-19 pandemic makes online education went from optional to mandatory. No matter how much we hate online school, there is no other choice for us, since the spread of coronavirus must be combated. With positive reinforcement, a well-scaffolded lesson plan, and a little patience, the online learning experience can be an incredibly positive one. In my opinion, the effectiveness of online education depends on the students themselves. All of us are having a hard time during this pandemic, but hard time is not a hard time until we consider it as a hard time, right? So positive mind is the key. We also must believe that we can get through this pandemic together. Before I close my speech, I would like to tell you about one of my favorite quotes that I read randomly from the internet the other day that helps to encourage me during my studies. A quote by Brian Harriet. He said that the capacity to learn is a gift, the ability to learn is a skill, and the willingness to learn is a choice. So as long as we are blessed with a gift as well as a skill to learn, we also must have a choice to educate ourselves. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, that's all for my speech. I hope my speech can encourage all of us to study even harder during this COVID-19 pandemic. Lastly, thank you so much for your attention. Good morning and stay healthy.